Well, it's nice to be joined with you, Aaron. I spoke with Kiefer yesterday, and he was a bit surprised when this one came around. I'm sure a lot of people were because it's a very tough fight for you. You're sort of throwing yourself in the deep end here. So just talk to me about how this came about on your behalf against Kiefer Crosbie.
So I know the matchmaker. He's from Dublin. And he had said, "Oh, look, we're going to have a show in Dublin." This was ages ago, and he just kept in touch. He said, "Oh, look, would you fight Kiefer?" And I just said, "Yeah, why not?" Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, it is a fucking tough fight. Like, it's a tough fight, but it's one that excites us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone's expecting me to just go in there and get absolutely blown away. That's what I feel like everyone's expecting. So I feel like the pressure's more on him. But if he thinks it's going to be an easy night, then he's going to be in for a shock.
Mm, mm. And just talk to me about your training for this one. I know for the Mayweather exhibition, excuse me, I believe you were training at the Job's gym in Newcastle. Is it sort of the same for this one? You got the same.
No, I wasn't at Job's. No, I trained out of Wall's End with my coach Nick. That's where I train out of. So yeah, just back at the same place, Wall's End, with me coach Nick Gittis.
Has there been much changes? Yeah, I know it's still a boxing fight at the end of the day, but it's not really a very different opponent. Given the last one was the greatest boxer of all time, now you're fighting an MMA fighter who, like you said, a lot of his tools have been taken away. So, what's the sort of differences preparing for the last one to this one?
Well, for a start, there's not that much of a weight cut, thank God. Fuck me. The last fight against Floyd, there was like, I think I'd done like 10 kilos in 5 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So there was a lot. There was a lot of me time was getting the weight off. And whereas now a few kilo, not even worried about weight. So we're just training as hard as we possibly can for sharpness and power, like that, as we always do. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's with not dropping the weight, I'm still carrying a lot of the power, so it'll be nice to get back in there. I haven't fought at this weight since fucking hell, my first MMA fight 6 years ago. So it'll be nice to see how the power holds up, because as I drop weight, I feel like the power starts to die off a little bit. The speed's there, but the power drops off. So it'll be interesting to see. How Kiefer takes them.
Mm. I think in your last fight, people were pretty impressed with the showing, given it was against Floyd. But like you said there, I know you had to drop a lot of weight. So do you feel like this one, given it's a more natural weight class for you, you feel to put on a better showing than you did against Floyd because it's a more natural weight class, right?
I would like to think so. I feel like if with Floyd, it was like I was sometimes caught in the moment. It was just like, yeah, I mean, listen, it's Floyd Mayweather. It was like 1 minute he was there, and I thought, like, I remember at one point I had him in the corner, and I thought, right, that's it, I can unload. I unloaded, and he was fucking gone. Like, he was just so quick, and obviously Kiefer is, like you say, MMA background, so I don't think he's going to be as slippery or as slick as Floyd. So I feel like the shots will land a lot more on him, but also it's a higher weight class. So what's coming back is going to be heavy hands from Kiefer. Do you know what I mean? Floyd was pure speed. I don't think the power was that bad at all, to be honest with you. Whereas Kiefer is a heavier weight and he's always in war, so I'm expecting some heavy shots coming from him.
Mm. Just going back to that Floyd fight, you sort of touched on it there, but was there one sort of particular moment in there where you just thought, like, God, I really am in here with the best boxer of all time, like when you had him in the corner? I know you said there wasn't really much in terms of power that stunned you, but was there a lot of moments like that where he was there, then he wasn't there, sort of thing?
There was one body shot. He hit it was bang on, like bang on. And I swear down, he hit his. And I could not, I tried not to wince, right? But he was looking at the body as if to say, I've caught you there. And I was just thinking, fucking please do not hit that same shot again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take a knee. But yeah, man, it was just, I think the first round, I was at the first 30 seconds, I was kind of in awe, like thinking, fucking hell, this is Floyd Mayweather. And he was just messing around. He was like touching his hands out. And he kind of played, I kind of played into it. Then he just fucking whipped the left hook across straight on the side of the chin, and I just thought, yeah, that's Floyd Mayweather. So I need to keep my fucking guard up. So yeah, it was a crazy experience, but I'm hoping that it's made us a better fighter with a little bit more ring IQ, just from being in there with him, really.
Mm, mm. One thing that people sort of underestimate with him is, obviously he's got a great chin, but were there any moments where you sort of caught him and thought, oh, I've got you with a good one there, and then you were kind of surprised by his ability to take a punch? Obviously, he's hard to land on regardless, but were there any moments where you're sort of like, oh, like I had a good show in there?
There's a few shots landed, and I was just thinking, there's just like bounced off him. obviously the way he moves, obviously a lot was like deflect coming off the shoulders and stuff like that. But there was, I think, one or two shots I thought like I literally thought it was going to bang him straight on the chin. Then it was just a little quick shoulder movement. It was like brushing off, and I was thinking, fuck's sake, got to go again. But to go in there 8 rounds, I was more than happy to come away for only my second boxing fight.
Mm-hmm. Now that fight compared to Mayweather's most recent one was very different because it sort of ended in chaos. I don't know if you saw it in Miami. There was brawls in the ring and stuff. Probably a good thing it didn't happen at the O2, right? But did you watch that one, and were you sort of surprised, given how like respectful you were of each other, and these exhibitions are sort of like just a chance for people to come watch Floyd and have a good move around for a couple of rounds. But this one he had recently ended in, it was crazy in the ring. Did you see this or not?
I've seen the brawl. What I was very impressed with, even in mid brawl, Floyd still caught him with a left hook as he was walking back, caught him with a clean left hook, and I was just like, whether it's a street fight, a boxing fight, listen, if Floyd wants to put hands on you, he's going to do it. You know what I mean? And even in the midst of the brawl, Floyd was still like saying to the ref, "Now let us fight." But yeah, I just seen the brawl. I didn't see the earlier round, so I wasn't too sure how it went. But then I seen that John had put on Ariel Helwani's. He was starting to unload and he was landing and stuff. But then I read the comments and people were just saying, "You must have been watching a different fight than what we were and stuff." So I don't know. I don't know how it actually went.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of your fight with Floyd, I spoke to Kiefer yesterday about it, and obviously he's a very quite a brash character. He was sort of saying that when he watched it, he was laughing at it, and he didn't even want to call it a sparred session. He sort of likened it more to an open workout with a fan. If you do you sort of just think this is him playing games, or do you think he is actually not impressed with any of the skills that you had?
There's only one way to say how impressed he is on July the 15th. Do you know what I mean? So it's all well and good saying it was a sparring session and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how easy Kiefer can get through us then. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he honestly thinks it's going to be a walk in the park. That's what I honestly think he thinks. So he's going to be in for a shock.
Yeah, just go into that because I sort of asked him the question of what does this do for him in terms of, because obviously his hopes are to go to the UFC and stuff, and he sort of likened it to like a sort of a side mission. He'll just come in, sort of break your jaw, then go back to his MMA hopes. Do you sort of feel like he's looking at his way as not really taking it maybe as serious as he should be?
I think he's taking it serious. I know he takes all of his fights very serious. But on the other hand, how does it look for him if he comes across to an influencer boxing and gets beat? Where does that leave his UFC career? Do you know what I mean? Doesn't do him many favors in that way. So, is he still wanting to go UFC? Is that still the plan?
Yeah,
that seems to always have been the plan with him. But yeah, like I say, if he comes across into the influencer boxing and gets beat, then I don't know where that leaves his career, as in getting to the UFC.
Mm. And I don't think many people realize, but the last time, or at least you fought in Dublin, he was on the same card, right, as when you fought Austin Clem just before COVID happened.
He was, wasn't he? I thought he was. I couldn't remember because that was the month before COVID hit. I did think he was. That's right.
He fought on the undercard. I don't know if you had any interaction with Fight Week, or was he sort of on the radar at that point? Obviously, this is a long time ago.
No, you know what it is? I've spoken to Kiefer many times, like back and forth online. Like, congratulate him on fights. As far as I'm aware, there's no problem between me and Kiefer. Like, if I seen him in Dublin and we weren't fighting, I would say hello. Do you know what I mean? Ask him how things are. But unfortunately, for the next three and a bit weeks, I'm probably his enemy number one and he's mine. So that these things happen. Yeah, we've been on calls. Like I say, I've spoken to him many a times, but he's in the way of where I want to be and I'm in the way where he's want to be. So it should make for a cracking fight.
He mentioned to me one interaction, I don't know if you can recall this, it was probably about 2017, 18. I think he was in a nightclub and he sort of came up to you asking like, oh, you're in MMA now, we should sort of do a fight. And he said that you were like, oh no, like, I'm not in this sort of long term. And then he kind of felt bad almost after. Do you sort of remember this change and him sort of pushing for the fight or not?
I don't remember. Was that in a nightclub or he was?
Yeah, I think he came up to you in a nightclub, correct?
Oh, mate, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Back when in the 2017, 16, 17, when I was in nightclubs, I was in Norfolk State to fucking stand up, never mind fight anyone. But I don't remember that. That's kind of hot. I don't remember that. But like I say, with the MMA, I was never in it for the long term, really. I was in it to get paid. So that was me. That's it. I didn't really enjoy MMA. I didn't enjoy it. Like towards the end, for the Austin Clem fight, I think I'd done a 2-week camp. I just wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't for me. Then I found the boxing, and this is a bit more up my street. So what is it, 2017? So what? 6 years later, he's got his wish, but obviously it's not in MMA, it's in boxing. So yeah, we'll squash the beef on July the 15th.
I know, like, since crossing over to boxing, again, you post pictures with like some Adam Booth, Mick Conlan, like some big figures in the industry. Have they sort of been helping you for this one? And I'm guessing those sort of, you know, icons in boxing have really sort of developed your game in the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, I lived down it. I was under Adam Booth for nearly 22 years, 24 months. With Mick, I lived with Mick Conlan. I lived with Mick Conlan in the same apartment. So yeah, I learned a lot from them. But I'm back up home now with my coach Nick. He's been in my corner for all my fights. So yeah, Nick's a tremendous coach. He speaks to Adam a lot, and yeah, he's got the game plan for Kiefer, and hopefully I can execute it and we can come away with a victory.
How do you sort of, again, it's hard when someone's, you know, sort of not really got many boxing fights on display. Like, I know Kiefer's fought a lot of boxing in the past, but they're not sort of televised and whatnot. But how do you sort of look at his style as an MMA fighter, and what do you sort of expect him to bring in the ring? Do you sort of see someone that will probably go all guns blazing? Is that sort of something that you expect when you eventually meet the ring?
It's a hard one because he's very experienced, so I can't imagine him just coming flying out all guns blazing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's a lot more experienced than that. I feel like he is going to be throwing big fucking bombs to try and get us out of there. That's one thing I know for a fact. But as I'm coming all guns blazing, I think he's a bit more experienced than that. But fuck knows, I'll tell you on fight night when I'm in there. I've got no idea what he's going to do, but yeah, I just know it's going to make for a great fight.
Mm. And what sort of the plans with your boxing career going ahead? I believe I think it was like February last year that you had to deal with Boxer, and now there's Kingpyn here and stuff. So what sort of like are you just taking it fight by fight, or do you sort of have like a long-term plan? I know you're like what mid-30s now, but you're still active and stuff like that. So what sort of the plans for maybe the rest of the year?
Just be active. Just take everything as it comes. You know what I mean? I've got a fight booked in after Kiefer already. That's locked in. So we can't announce that until after the Kiefer fight. So yeah, I would, if I can have 4 or 5 fights to end this year, that would be great, because it gets us back up the ladder to where I want to be. But obviously in the boxing world, you know how things can progress and then just come to a halt. You know what I mean? So just get the Kiefer. The main thing is get this Kiefer fight, get there, get it done, and then on to the next one.
How do you expect the sort of, I know you've already fought there already, but a guy in Kiefer who's sort of, you know, trains at SBG, a big figure in Dublin, how do you see the reception you're going to get on that night?
I don't think it'll be great, to be honest with you. Only because, I mean, I've got a huge fan base in Ireland through the Geordie Shore days, but Kiefer's from Dublin. I think he's from Dublin. Or I think he's from Dublin. So obviously he's going to have fucking all the support there. But it's not somewhere that I haven't been before. I've been on the side where my first MMA fight, I walked out and every fuck I was booing. A lot of people were booing us in the Floyd Mayweather fight. So it's not something I haven't experienced. So I'll just take that with a pinch of salt. And like I say, the only thing that matters to me is what's going on the inside of the ring.
Speaking of that Mayweather fight, I know you guys sort of, you know, smiled and posed for a few pictures after. Did he sort of give you any words of advice? I'm not sure if he does with any of his sort of exhibition opponents. Did he sort of say like that you did a good thing here? Did you ask him for any advice, or did you have?
Yeah, I spoke to him in the back, and he just said, "Look," he said, "You said you're well." He said, "You're a tough motherfucker." That's what he said. He just said, "Keep working." He said, "You can see you've got ability. Just keep working, keep pushing on." And that was it, really. So just a nice little confidence booster. Do you know what I mean? After getting me head pinged off by him, it's nice. I mean, it's always nice to know that you've got the toughness. But yeah, I've been working on a lot of things in the gym, and hopefully we'll get to show that come fight night with Kiefer.
Not to reveal too much, but obviously it will be probably about 4 months from the Mayweather one and the Kiefer one. What do you think the thing that you've sharpened up the most in camp is?
I mean, I'm not going to give that away. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you that. But yeah, I've just been trying to work on an all-round game and just trying to be a better boxer in every aspect. And like I say, when it comes to fighting, hopefully I can show that.